the logo for DeRazzled. I have some materials here that I'll show you in a minute. I'll switch the camera around so you can see my hands doing handy things. But first, I'm going to show you some mock-ups that my partner Belinda was kind enough to do with her computer knowledge. We'll see if you can actually see what's going on. So that's kind of what we're looking for. I'm going to build the tape and the raspberries as an actual tangible thing, and then take a picture of it. And she's going to add the kind of neon swirly diddle logo. Also we did a couple of mock-ups. We have this fella. As you can see on the label, it says derp, which is short for DeRazzled. Eventually, when we have fans, we're going to call them derps, lovingly. Here's just the wording. Really into pink and purple right now, kind of like a neon pink and purple. No reason, just kind of like it. So let's see if if I can make this thing. I'm going to change the camera a little bit so you can see my workspace. All right. So first we have the VHS itself. I went on eBay and ordered the 2 cheapest VHSs I could find, which is Charlie Chan, Meeting at Midnight, and Francis in the Navy. I'm glad to be able to give these cinematic classics a second home. Aesthetically, I think I prefer Charlie Chan's. I don't know. It just a little boxier. I don't really. I don't know if you can see this, but this wording up here is lacking on the other one. So we don't need that. It looks older and grimier and has some texture, whereas this one, Francis in the Navy, is a little newer. So we got those for the tape portion. Then we have the raspberries. These wonderful, like really hard rubber raspberries. They smell super chemically plastic. But I'm going to. So I think I'm going to do this in 2 parts. First, kind of compile the individual parts, and then the second part will be me putting those parts together. So what that means for the raspberries is I'm going to go spray paint them at the intermission and then come back once they're dry. And I got spray paint, very important spray paint. Zoop. And that's it for the main parts. I have some spackle so what I'm planning on doing is taking some tinfoil and making, I think it's called an armature, sort of building a little stand to glue the raspberries on, because I didn't buy like 120 raspberries. I think I have like 40. So yeah, I think the first part will be building the base. So as I've already decided, Charlie Chan's our man. So what I'm thinking is, let me get this cleared away a little bit. Putting this on top of this, and this will be the base, right? And then we'll build the aluminum out from here, which I'm sure is going to sound just great. So I'm wondering if I need like a secondary kind of step, maybe like a aluminum can or something to build off of, so it's not just like straight tinfoil. Should have thought of that before, but I didn't, so we're not doing it. All right. I apologize for all that tinfoily sounds, but that's how tinfoil do. actually kind of like build it out. Build it out from here. Yeah. Not sure how I'm going to get the tinfoil to all stick together, but we'll cross that bridge once we get to it. So while I'm making this, I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to jump headfirst into making this podcast, because it's a different process than what I've gone through for other projects, right? So like primarily I'm a film dude. I write and direct and occasionally act in film, and that, you know, being a low budget dude, the only way to do that and make it look good is to pre-plan everything, right? Like you want to do everything in pre-pro, because you don't want to look like shit. Alternatively, I'm just winging it with the podcast, and the reason for that is I'm a very anxious individual, and if normally like the pre-planning stuff is good for my anxiety, right? Like I know what's gonna happen. I have a plan. I have a plan to that plan. But this will be DeRazzled will be my third time attempting a podcast, and part of the reason those previous two didn't happen is because I got super anxious and in my head, and I was like, this is stupid, and nobody's gonna want to watch it or listen to it, rather. And I have a million other projects I can be working on, so I'll just do that, right? Like I'll go do those things. But probably about a month ago at this point, one of my coworker friends from my money's job, not my life-giving job, but the one that I guess it technically is life-giving in that it pays rent. How did you go? Oh, this puzzle's already wrecked. Well, we're just gonna smoosh you in there. One of my friends from work got a new job, which is great for her. I'm really happy, because it's not where I work is not the healthiest of work environments for brain health. And it was kind of the last straw on top of a bunch of other stupid shit. You know, nothing catastrophic, just the world we live in, and living through the Trump presidency, and then 2020 specifically, where I realized like the cavalry's never coming, right? So we went through a pandemic together, you and me and the world, and I lost faith in all of our institutions, specifically the government, and like entire generations, and just like, wow, you guys really kind of screwed us there, didn't you? How does this tie into this person leaving for a new job? Yeah, it doesn't, I guess. I don't know. It was just kind of like she left, she left, and then another person left, and I'm like, I still have my good buddy Aaron to work with, which, my God, is I wouldn't be able to go in if he wasn't there. But I kind of just snapped. It was just that last thing to occur where I've been so anxious about like what people think of me, and specifically about what I do as a writer or director or creative person. And maybe it's super bitter. I just kind of realized like nobody cares their opinion doesn't matter. Nobody's opinion matters, and if it did, as it once had, that was only because I was like, oh, we as a human species will help each other out. Wait, that's not true at all. Probably just living in my own privilege, white privilege there for a minute. And by minute, I mean 34 years. So it's just like, all right, let me try this again. So in college, I directed this play called The Mineola Twins, and there was this intermission break, right? And I was working with this dude, Scott Fetterman, cool dude. He's working in New York City, and we walked into the prop shop, and we saw these two red trikes, like just your traditional Americana trikes, and in the show, I don't even know if it's in the script or if it's something that like we just added. There are these two like federal agents. I think they're in the script. I can't remember. And I think Scott suggested it. I think Scott was like, "What if we had the two agents ride on stage, not guns a-blazing, but like guns in hand, to like mark intermission?" And this is not. I am a serious filmmaking person. I would never accept something so farcical as that. But in that moment, and I was very stressed as undergrad, there's a lot of shit going on. I felt a crack, just like a crack go up the middle of my being. And like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, do that. And then we had my good friend Nate build a confetti cannon. And it was gorgeous. And everyone really enjoyed that moment in the play. And then I went back to being a serious individual who took his art very seriously. Except for, I mean, you know, there are the moments where, like, I made a short film with my buddies with ramming speed pictures called Knife Pricker, which is as seriously as you can take something stupid. But even that, you know, I took more seriously than other people would, I think. But then, as I was saying, I'm getting to a point, I promise. Where are you? So this isn't. I can't tell. I don't know if you can see like what this mound of tinfoil. What I'm trying to do right now is cover up the box, right? So like the VHS is going to rest on the box beneath it. So I want to be able to cover that with the mountain of raspberries, which I'm building the hills for as we speak. But there's about like a finger's width right there, so I have to like build up from the bottom like an extra ½ inch. Anyway, so on a human level, if my life, talk about vain, but like if my life were the play and the podcast were my like day-to-day life were the red tricycles in a prop loft, 2020 was the thing that pushed me over, and I reached the point where I was just like, fuck it. Fuck each and every part of it. I don't care if this fails, the podcast. I'm gonna do the best I can with it. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun hanging out with Joe and the other people we're gonna have on. Excited. A bunch of other like writer friends that we have. A lot of people from our writers circle, to be honest. And you know, like I'll do my best, but I'm not going to do what I normally do, which is anxiously plan each and every aspect of it to the point where I don't end up doing it, or I end up doing it as just incredibly stressful. And part of the reason that you're seeing, like, because of that, you're seeing the like dirty underpants of production, right? So our first thing that we shot, you know, I messaged Joe early in the day, and I was like, hey, we're gonna live stream this. Like, it wasn't even our first episode; it was a bonus episode that we were shooting first. Like, we're gonna live stream it, and he's like, do you know how? I'm like, nope, I'm gonna figure it out. So let's see, we're almost a cohesive bit. So we did it. We live streamed it. It was, we used my cat tree for a tripod for my cell phone, which should tell you if anybody's seen any of my film work, or maybe that won't even matter. I typically plan things out more than just like, yeah, lean the camera against the cat tree, and then don't worry about having the cat climb on it or not, which my cat bushy absolutely did. But one of the reasons I want to do that, besides like outrunning my own anxiety, is I want to demystify the creative process, right? So put another layer on, and then I'll continue. Under. That's a good-looking ham. Smush it in there a little bit. Flatten it out. Okay. All right. So yeah, I wanted to demystify the creative process, which was something that, like, I've been doing or been trying to do since college. I went to undergrad for theater performance, and there were some professors and students, because we work with student directors who, sorry, I lost my thought. They made it like this ethereal thing that you have to tap into your blah 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 in order to beep boop boop act well. And it's so intimidating to look at the creative process and be like, oh, if you are not a art wizard, then you will suck, which is not at all true. Like, first of all, if you're starting out, you're going to suck just because you need to learn stuff. The people you look up to have theoretically already been doing it for years. That's looking nice. Yeah. Don't stand too good, but it's real lumpy, just how I want it. But I luckily had professors that were like, no, here are the nuts and bolts of like what you need to know in order to have a believable character, like get in a character. You need to do X, Y, Z so that your voice can be heard on stage if you're working in a bigger space. So what I want to do with this is show the ugly background of making a podcast, which I don't know how to do. Like, I'm watching YouTube videos. I have some like basic transferable knowledge from filmmaking, but not much. But if I'm able to do it, you can do it. And I'm maybe you can learn something from my mistakes, because I can just barely do it. Like as I was saying, our first episode, we live streamed. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just playing with the raspberries. We live streamed from Facebook or Instagram, sorry. And the audio was garbage, the video was garbage, but we had like 11 people show up, and they had a good time. In theater, you play to the people that are there, and there were 11 jags there. And then our next time we recorded, we did a live watch along with Wild Wild West, right? And we had some more people there. It was a step up as far as audio goes, and it was a little step up as far as just the like set, quote unquote set goes. And then this third recording, first actual episode, we gosh, I hope that's enough. I hope I have enough raspberries. I think I'm gonna take the picture from like here up, right? So like I just need like this enough raspberries to cover like this portion. I think so. I think I do. I'll finish yammering first though. I moved through that quicker than I thought. I do have one other thing I want to do with the base before I take a break to go spray paint some raspberries, and that's what the spacklin's for. Because my concern is that these raspberries won't stick to the foil. I have a hot glue gun, so I think spray painting them will put a little bit of texture on them, and then putting spackle over this will give it something to cling to. That is, if spackle clings to that. We'll see. It's a learning adventure. Have you been listening? Shit. So the third time we recorded or live streamed or whatever, we moved over to Twitch. Has been easier to have a better quality of video, and we it's still pretty rough. Like we're having trouble getting rid of Joe's echo on his mic, and oh yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but it kind of stands. Wow, gravity! It kind of reminds me of the MTV, is it movie awards, music awards, whatever, with the astronaut. Hey, you young kids don't know it. Oh no, my raspberries. Anyway, my point is that each thing we do, our goal is to incrementally increase the quality. Because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listened to the last podcast on the left and My Favorite Murder and a bunch of other ones, Behind the Bastards, and they even listening to them from the very beginning, I'm like, oh man, they have their shit together. How will I ever get to that? And I'm assuming that they have gone through XYZ number of episodes where they're like, well, we're never showing that to anybody, and I don't blame them. When I'm making a movie, I don't exactly show you the shit. I forgot to put the newspaper down. Don't want to ruin our super high quality podcasting table. That I don't know if you can see it. It sheds black paint on you. See, that's the secrets you don't get from other podcasts. But when we're making a film. Ah, shit! I did it again. I just love playing with spackle. Anyway, as I was saying before you rudely interrupted, when you make a movie, hopefully you're able to do multiple takes. So those really bad takes, either because there was a goof 'em up, or what happens more often than I'd ever expected, a cat just wanders through. The audience never sees those, and I want to say it's Chris Nolan who's you will never see a deleted scene on a DVD special of his, because he's that's the actors working, and we're not going to show you their mistakes, because why would you highlight somebody's mistakes? Now I do like seeing missing scenes, oh, this was almost in the movie, except for it would have been 8 hours long. But I get where he's coming from. But if you want to think about it like this, this show is just the deleted scenes. We're just a blooper reel of podcasts. Which, again, to go back to my theater training, Yeah, I think it was in directing one or two. We all directed. I think we directed a one act, which is about, depending, about like 40 minutes, half hour to 40 minutes long, maybe a little longer. And there's like 10 of us, 12 of us in the class, and we'd go and we'd watch it and then we critique it. And honestly, like a lot of what we're doing on DeRazzled kind of comes from that class. Like I'm pretty much stealing the format from that class. So you're getting a free education. You're welcome. Getting those nooks and crannies. So we would go to each other's shows, which I really enjoyed seeing the different styles of these young artists. I'm not joking. I miss it. I really miss having that sort of thing. And a lot of the people that I went to school with aren't directing, either because they chose a different path in life, or because we live in a capitalist nation that doesn't allow for people to be artists. Anyway, we'd go and see each other's shows, and then when we had class, we'd say what worked for us and what didn't work for us. And man, you learn so much more from the shows that you're like, this didn't work and this didn't work and this didn't work, than you did with the shows where like, no, I don't really have any complaints. First of all, no production, no film, no podcast is perfect. There's always something. If you know what you're doing, there's always something you can tweak and fix. But I'm hoping we're the shitty play, the play where you're like, ooh, they made some choices. I don't agree with some of them, but you know what? I'm learning something. Not that every one of you out there are trying to start your own podcast, but I don't know. I don't know. I have nothing to finish that statement with. I think part of me is a frustrated professor who's just like, I want you to know the things I know. Let me simplify it for you. It's probably a frustrated professor, probably a little bit of just being a director. We're just all like that. We just want to learn things, not feed our own egos. Look at this beautiful mountain I made. Thank you for coming to my mountain tutorial. Yeah, I don't actually know. There's probably not a whole lot I can continue to do until this dries and the raspberries are spray painted. So what I think I'm going to do, my hands are sticky, is, all right, it's coming together. Yeah, I'll let this dry. I'll go do the raspberries, and then you'll have to tune in next time for part 2, where we'll finish it up. Thank you for enjoying some free therapy. It's been a minute since I've been able to see my therapist. I hope you learned something, and just watch the episodes. Just watch the podcast. It's like half therapy, half movie shit. So here's the conundrum. I don't have clean hands, so I don't know how to end the stream. I've got like 2 fingers that are not dirty. Gosh. All right, bye. See ya.